Good morning and welcome to the Hold My Ball podcast. Today, it is the best and worst things I've seen so far this week in less than 10 minutes. First time I'm running this segment, and it's just things I noticed that maybe you didn't, or things I saw that maybe you missed, but a few things I really liked and a few things I'm like, that sucks. This is Hold My Ball podcast. Start the intro music.
This is a baseball podcast. Yeah, baseball. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about baseball stuff. Let's talk about the players and the teams. This is Hold My Ball. Yeah, baseball.
Today's best and worst is brought to you by Slab Dynasty, the only place I rip cards. Just go to slabdynasty.com or download their app, and trust me on that one. Go rip some cards with them. Now, the best things I've seen and the worst things I've seen. I'm going to start with the worst because I think a lot of people saw this. I saw a lot of confusion on the social media side of this play. PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong, one of my favorite players in all of baseball, steals second base on a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. He takes off. And it is ball 4. He slides in. He gets tagged. It doesn't really matter if he's tagged or not because it's ball 4. He gets second base. And as he touches the base with his hand, it hits the base and then it pops off the base and the tag is still applied. It's still on him. And he, gets in, gets up, and they challenge. The other team says, you know what? I think somebody smart in the video side, hand it to him. They know their stuff, whoever this was, said, I think we tagged him when he was off the base. This is a live ball. When you get ball 4, the ball's not dead. The play is live. That guy that got walked, if there's nobody on, could run straight to second if he wants. He could jog to first, see somebody sleeping, and go boop and sprint to second and take the base. He could do that if he wants to. So the ball is live on a walk. It's dead on a hit by pitch. That's where I think a lot of people get confused. So this happens. The ruling was that Pete Crow Armstrong was out, which the reason I think this is the worst thing I've seen is because they got the rule right, technically. Pete Crow Armstrong stole second base. He was, I don't even know if they made a call. I think there was a no call on the play because it was a walk and the umpire was just like, it's ball 4. And normally that happens all the time. Like you see a ball 4, somebody slides in, they throw it down, the catcher knows it's ball 4. They don't throw it down on a borderline pitch with less than 2 outs. A catcher's probably going to, a 3-2 at least, probably going to catch it and throw it down regardless whether it's a ball or strike because they don't know. So if there's 1 out and you think it might be a strike, you're not just going to stick it there. You're going to play the steal, strike them out, throw them out if you can. So they do. Nothing really happens. Ball 4, the umpire says, and the umpire at second base is on top of the play, but he makes no real call because whatever, ball 4, standard baseball stuff. The video guy goes, hey, check this out. Boom. He touches the base. Once he touches the base, Pete Crow Armstrong, because it's a live ball, not a dead ball, he could technically keep running to third. Just like I said, the guy that got walked could keep running to second if he wanted to. So what this is the equivalent of is like if Pete Crow Armstrong came in standing up, stepped on second base, and then took a step off of it and passed it or whatever, and the guy tagged him, he'd be out because he's looking like he's going to advance to third, and he came off the bag. They made the right call technically, but this is why I hate this replay. Like the replay stuff, I don't mind it for like plays. I like that it gets a lot of things right. I think it brings an added little short, quick element of like, let's all watch the replay and see. It takes some umpires off the hook for bad calls and big moments, which I also like because it keeps the game pure, I guess, like true, gives it a true outcome if you can really see it and slow it down. Even though New York gets these calls wrong half the time, the people in New York reviewing them, it's unbelievable to me. I just don't understand it. But the reason it's the worst thing I've seen is because it just is stupid. He stole the bag. Sure, he would have been safe, I guess, whatever. He gets walked. He's safe anyways. The bag is his. He slides in. He's making the play. He comes off the base a half an inch. The tag is still on him. They go with this technical rule, and with the instant replay, you're like, oh, yeah, he came off the bag this much. He's out, and it's just stupid. It's stupid. I think there should be things that, like, you look at and go, that's not really part of the game. Let's be honest. That's a very cheap out. That's a cheap ass out. You didn't earn shit. You walked the guy. The guy stealing was there, whatever. And some friggin' nerd downstairs looking at the TV goes, "Ooh, Pete Armstrong came off the base. And according to rules, that means he's out. Review it." And so they do. And I guarantee the dugout was probably like, "What the hell are we reviewing?" "Yeah, sure." They said downstairs, "Go get him." And then when they were watching it, they're like, "Oh, that's what we're reviewing." That's what bothers me. Maybe. But nobody saw that. You can't see that from where they were. So I don't know. Very annoying to me. I don't like it. One of the worst things I've seen this week. Now on to one of the best things I've seen. I'm going to go back and forth. I got 3 good things, 3 bad things. And this is going to be under 10 minutes, I think. I'm going to try. How long? Where are we at? Oh, shoot. 5 minutes already. Fernando Tatis. This was a quick one. He goes to try to catch a fly ball in right field. Their second baseman, Song or whatever he is, whatever his name is, almost collides with him. Tatis says, "Ooh," boom, drops, hits his glove, falls to the ground. He's pissed. Everybody's kind of irritated. And he's just like, yeah, whatever. The inning ends and he's jogging off the field and he takes his glove off and just hucks it up into the stands. Like just boom, here. Like somebody at that game got Fernando Tatis's game used, probably season-long outfield glove, which I think is awesome because he has endless gloves if he wants. He's Fernando Tatis. I think if big leaguers did stuff like this more often, it'd be awesome. Not so much with their gloves because gloves are like, that's your thing. You know, that's your baby. You don't even have other people put their hand in your glove. So I don't know, whether it's a pair of batting gloves, you know, you strike out 3 times and you're like, I'm never using these gloves again. Throw them to a fan. Just to here. I think it's awesome. I think it was awesome that Tatis did that. And I don't think he was trying to be cool or nice to fans or anything. I think he genuinely was like, fuck this glove. That's what I think, and I love that. It's one of the best things I've seen this week. One of the worst things, Chapman singles to left field, hard off the wall. He tries to stretch it to a double. Soderstrom plays it perfectly. Beautiful relay. Hose him by like 10 feet at second base. So much that he's like, I'm not even going to slide. So he kind of stutters in and still attempts to like get to the base, which I can appreciate. He reaches for it with his foot, but he doesn't slide. He doesn't like round the bag. Obviously, he just kind of stutters in and is like, "Ooh, let me try to touch the base." He ends up cleating Geloff for the Athletics. He cleats him on his right hand, the ball, the hand without the glove on. It looked really bad right at first, but then you realized it was a bunch of dirt on his hand instead of blood, and maybe some blood. I don't know. But he left the game injured. I haven't looked at the report to what happened to him yet, but just a bummer, a real bummer, because Geloff was in the middle of a 24-game hit streak. And when you watch that and you see that happen, it's just a bummer. Let's look him up real quick and see what happened to him. See if he's all right, because I'm curious. This might take a little extra time here, but it's worth knowing. It's worth knowing. We need one that's like 2 hours ago. Out of the lineup today. So he's out of the lineup today. Moved. Boom. Do they have laceration and contusion on his right hand? Max Muncy will take over. Okay. So yeah, he got a laceration and contusion. It was tough. When you watch the replay, it's like his heel of his cleat just goes and like scrapes across his hand with like most of Chapman's weight. Nothing anybody did wrong. Chapman, was bummed right after. He was just like, oh God, dang it. So it wasn't anything malicious, just a bummer that it happened. One of the worst things I've seen this week. Would love to see the hitting streak end because he didn't get a hit, not because he got injured after an AB or after starting the game or something. I think that sucks. That sucks. Maybe they should just have like a retroactive, like, you got injured? Nah, that doesn't count. Your hitting streak is still alive. Kind of like PCA. Oh, yeah, you know what? That's just stupid to call that out. You're safe. Best thing I've seen, Tarek Skubal. He's pitching today. His pants cause a mid-game injury scare. They just looked like they were too tight, really. I'm pretty sure I don't know. He was just pulling at him, and then you get the trainers are out there. Everybody's out there, and everybody's scared because it's Skubal, and he's coming back from this injury after a surgery that nobody's, I think, ever even seen. It was unbelievable. He comes back after like 6 weeks or something stupid, and he's dealing. Went 6 innings tonight. 4 runs, 4 hits, 3 home runs. That's the problem. Goldschmidt got him twice. The golden years for Goldschmidt. That's what this is. But Skubal is like the trainers come out. So when that happens, everybody's like, that's it. It's over. He's got an injury. He's done. But he's just kind of like, I don't know what they're saying. John Boy, I bet will break this down. But, he's pulling at his pants, like the crotch of his pants. They got a girl trainer out there. She kind of gives a look down there and kind of like, okay. And then Scooble kind of laughs and says something. And I think Dingler's laughing. Everybody's just kind of like, okay, do we really just come out here for this? And then I watched him pitch the rest of the game, and I couldn't stop looking at his pants. So they look like they're painted on. So I don't know. Maybe the sliders, maybe the spandex underneath were too tight. Maybe the pants in general were too tight. But that's Scooble. That guy's a friggin' dog. I love watching him pitch. Even when he gives up home runs or I just love watching him pitch. I love watching his reactions to things. I love watching when somebody hits a bomb off him and he looks at it and he's so competitive and it's like on to the next one. He's a very fun guy to watch play baseball. One of my all-time favorites as far as a pitcher goes. And I have a lot of them. I'm not saying, all-time. I enjoy watching him as much as I've enjoyed watching any pitcher. Worst thing, Sandy Alcantara becomes the all-time strikeout leader for the Marlins with his 1,002nd strikeout at home, which is awesome. You become the Marlins leader in strikeouts at home, and not one person in that building, not one fan even knew what was going on. It wasn't on the board. It wasn't celebrated. It was like the most awkward thing. He's on the mound looking around. He knew. He was like, damn, I just became the all-time leader. Kind of looked around. The manager's like sitting there going, looking up at the broadcast booth or whoever's in charge of things, like the video board. I don't know. It's such a Marlins thing. Nobody knew. And then all of a sudden it's like they start to give an applause. They try to make it. It's like the catcher was still standing up like, no, hold on. The batter's like, I'm not going to the plate yet. We got to give this guy his flowers. What are we doing here? How come nobody's cheering? And then eventually they cheer a little bit. But man, what an underwhelming thing to happen when you set a record for a franchise all time. You're the all-time strikeout leader for the franchise, and nobody in the stands knew. Marlin fans, you got to do better than that. You have got to do better than that. But it is Miami. What do you expect? What do we expect from those fans? I'll tell you, nothing. Nothing, man. I don't expect nothing. I wonder if the Marlins man knew, I bet he had to know. I feel like he had to know. All right, last best thing I've seen this week. I might have gone over on the time, but I think there's a good reason for that. It's okay. We're doing good. We're getting close. Logan O'Hoppe, this is one of the best things I've seen because this is one of the best dudes that I know. I've talked to him a little bit. I've met him several times. He's given me tickets to the Angels games on occasion. A good dude. And the thing is with all these baseball players, like our job is to talk about them. And it's not necessarily like, how do I go viral talking about them? Let me talk shit or let me do this or let me make fun of them. Let me find something funny. It's just like they're entertainers to us. So we talk about them. But I mean, the big talk right now, Rafael Devers, everybody's like, this guy's the worst. I bet if every one of us that thinks he's the worst as a baseball guy and what he did the other day, met him in real life, we'd be like, love that guy. What great energy. So for me, it's never like an actual personal thing. It feels like work sometimes to talk about these guys. And it also feels like I want everybody to know I am the guy in the office podcasting about the best baseball players on planet Earth. And I know that, I know that. Every guy that I've ever met, super cool. Like the coolest. Every baseball player, every big leaguer, I'm always like, that guy's cool as shit. What do you know? So I assume a lot of them are, most of them are. But anyways, Logan O'Hoppe, one of my favorite guys, one of my favorite players. A check swing walk-off, which was fun because he check swings, it bounces off home plate, it dribbles up the third baseline, the guy on third comes running home. They catch it looked like Little League. The catcher catches it and picks it up off the ground. The pitcher's just standing there watching like, oh shoot. And then the catcher reaches to try to tag the runner. The runner's like, oh no. He runs out of the running lane, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And scoops around him and scores and everybody celebrates. And I just love that this is baseball. That's baseball. And that was always going to happen. Logan O'Hoppe was, yesterday, he was always going to come up to the plate in the bottom of the 9th or 10th or whatever inning this was. And he was always going to check his swing. The ball was going to barely touch it perfectly enough to literally drop straight down on home plate, enough spin to roll out into just far enough to where the catcher feels like, man, I don't think I have a chance at first, which would have been a much better option. I don't know why he didn't. Logan O'Hoppe is a catcher. He's not known for his speed. I don't think he's slow, but he's certainly not a guy that's going to go give you 20, 30 stolen bags. That's not his thing. He's a power-hitting catcher. So I do think that it might have been Basallo back there. I think they're playing the Orioles maybe. You got to go to first on this play. You just have to. There's no other play. You pop out real quick, boom, and you throw him out. But this is what happens when the game happens fast. If he had a split second to turn and see, O'Hoppe squared to bunt, like right at the last second, a little drag bunt, whatever, his brain clicks to, okay, this is what I work on. When we work in practice and we work bunts, this is the play I do 1,000 times over in spring training. But when a guy goes, ooh, and it happens to bounce, boom, and then you don't get time to think, you just go, and there's a runner coming home and it's a game-winning run, and you instinctively go, pick it up and tag this guy because he's the game-winning run, instead of like, ooh, pop out, boom, set my feet, throw a missile to first, we move on to extras. That's the way baseball works. So the best players in the world think fast. They're talented, obviously, their work ethic through the roof, but they think and they move quick and they take action without perfect circumstances. And that's it. Those are the 6 best and worst things I've seen so far this week. I like this segment. If you guys enjoy this segment, let me know. And let me know if you saw these things, if you noticed them, if you thought they were fun, if you thought they were funny, if you thought they were bad. This is baseball. This is why I love it. If you pay attention and you watch enough, you don't even have to watch a ton of it. If you watch enough, you just get to see so much fun, a bunch of fun. It's a beautiful game. We get to watch the best guys in the world do it. And I love that about it. This is the Hold My Ball podcast. Thanks, you guys, for listening. That was a plural thanks. Thanks, you guys, for listening. Thank you guys for listening. This is the Hold My Ball podcast. As always, all the things that don't cost you any money, like subscribe, share, download, send to somebody else, comment, do whatever. That's what gets the other sponsors. So you guys doing all the things that don't cost you any money allow me to find people and go, look at all these views, look at all this action. And we make this podcast better by having sponsors because we can afford to do better things. So I thank you guys so much for your support. I love you to death. You know that. I am going to be back tomorrow. And that's it. This is the show. We'll see you guys later.